Hey, Walter Sorrells back with more tips for the knife maker. Today reviewing this, the Bucktool 12-inch variable speed drill press. So recently I got a benchtop size variable speed drill press from the, let's say, budget tool company Bucktool. And I wanted to see if this was the kind of tool that would work for a knife maker, particularly one who was just getting started. And I was prepared to hate on it, to be honest with you. But the truth is, all right, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let me tell you what I found out. All right, let's get started with the facts and figures. Now, like I said, it is a benchtop drill press. This is a pretty sizable one as benchtop models go. But that means that it's not like a big old honker like this Rikon that I have next here that sits on the floor. Still, like I say, pretty good size. It's 39 inches high, it's 15 inches wide, it's 21 inches deep. It's got a 120 volt, 3/4 horse motor. And for the price point, Bucktool's strategy seems to be to pack as many features on here as humanly possible, that, at least that you would expect at a price point like this. So let's start by talking about variable speed. The traditional drill press, again, like my Rikon that's sitting over there, has a couple of step pulleys for changing speeds. There's a lot of rigmarole to changing speeds. You got to loosen the motor, pull the motor back, start twisting around on all these pulleys. And it just means that if you're like me, basically you kind of stick it on a compromise speed and you just leave it there. For those of you who are new to metalworking, every drill bit has a sweet spot where it plays nice with a particular material, and if you depart from that, you lose tool life, or you waste time, one or the other, or even both. So being able to change speeds conveniently is a big deal. To change speeds here, you just crank the handle while it's running, giving you infinite variability. The more you know about metalworking, the more you'll value this feature. The Bucktool gives you 360 to 2000 RPM at the throw of the lever. In addition, there's an LED readout for your RPM so you know exactly how fast you're going. The 10-inch by 10-inch cast iron table cranks up and down very smoothly and can be tilted, though not very conveniently. With a maximum space between the spindle and the lowest travel of 12 inches, you got plenty of drilling room for most knife making tasks. The JT3 chuck holds up to a 5/8 inch shank tool or down to 1/32. It's got a little laser for aiming the drill. Never found these to be the least bit useful. Also a nice bright LED light, which is useful. It also has most of the standard features of this kind of drill, like a quill stop, 3-arm feed handle, and a base that you can screw to a bench. At this exact moment, you can find the drill on the interwebs for about $290. So one thing, when I review tools, I try not to just yank them out of the box and say, here are the features. I really want to use them. So this has been my go-to drill for the past, 2 months, I guess. I've drilled knives, knife handles, wooden items, plastic, pretty much everything that I'm doing here around the shop. And the same kind of stuff that, a general hobbyist or DIY-er would be drilling on a drill press. Unless there was a really good reason to use something else, sometimes I need to drill something on a mill where I need something really precisely located or whatever. This has been the drill that I've used. I also did some objective tests. I checked the spindle and the chuck for TIR, or total indicated runout, which is basically a measure of how much the tool deviates from perfect concentricity, or in other words, kind of how much it wobbles. I measured about 4/1000ths of an inch of runout at the spindle and a hair more out at the chuck. Pretty reasonable for a tool in this range. I also cranked it up at various speeds and let it run for hours at a time just to see how it held up. You could smell a little belt rubber after a while, but it never died, never overheated, never showed any signs of distress. I also drilled a variety of test materials up to running 5/8 inch max capacity drills at aggressive feeds into steel. No sign of bogging the motor down. You'd really have to run something like a big Forstner bit or something to shut this thing down. One last thing that as a one-time technical writer gives me a little tickle of pleasure is that unlike a lot of Chinese branded tools, the manual is actually clear, it's useful, it's written by somebody who speaks English. That or they did it with AI, but who cares? It works. Nice manual. So if you're looking for a drill to do DIY type stuff in the shop, this size drill is just the thing. Unless you need a big floor model, which gives you the capacity for drilling in very large items, things like furniture. This is sizable enough and powerful enough for most ordinary users. For knife makers, I think this is just the right size. You can buy smaller drills, but they're often a little rickety. On the other hand, big drills like my Rikon floor model have equally big chucks, which don't have the capacity to run small drills. They're really made for drilling bigger stuff. Knife makers will often find themselves using 1/16 inch drill bits, 1/8 inch drill bits. Guess what? A 16th inch drill just drops right out of the chuck on my bigger drill. As I implied earlier, the drill has plenty of power for anything a knife maker would want to do. Precise enough for working on folders, just good all-round drill. Here's my overall impression. The motor, nice and quiet. The drill runs and feeds and changes speeds very smoothly. The chuck, it's just okay. It's not conspicuously smooth or easy to tighten, but it works just fine. And when you consider that this entire machine costs less than, say, a new Jacobs chuck, that's hardly surprising. By and large, the details are well executed, the quill stops smooth and precise enough for a machine like this. The table elevation crank, this crank down here, it's nice and smooth, it never balks, it locks in place easily. And just as a side note, I always recommend buying some sort of vise with a drill. El Cheapo drilling vises like this one that I got sitting here, they're okay. Some better alternatives are small machinist vices or even a specialized knife maker's vise. This one right back here happens to be one that I make myself. You can buy these from Pop's Knife Supply. The point is that you want to be able to hold your blade nice and square to the table and keep it accurately and rigidly in place while you're drilling so it doesn't grab it in helicopter or move off in some position that you didn't want it to. Anyway, I pretty much expected, just to feel kind of meh about this drill press, but honestly, I really like it. Bucktool sent me this as a review model. I always have to disclose that. And sometimes I get gear to review and I either give it away to a friend or I kind of dump it on Facebook Market or whatever it is. But this is not the case in this one. I mean, this is going to be sitting here for a while. I expect you're going to see it probably for years to come in videos around this shop. So just to sum it up, Bucktool 12-inch variable speed drill, a lot of holes, not much money. All right, guys, thanks for watching and see you soon. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what we're doing here, please subscribe and make sure that you click on that bell so you get notified of all the latest videos. Want to buy a knife from me? Check out my modern blades at tacticsarmory.com. Digging the channel? You can support our video making efforts on Patreon. I've been banging away on these videos for like 10 years, so I hope you'll show some love for all that hard work. Link in the cards and descriptions. Finally, if you're interested in making Japanese swords, check out my full line of Japanese sword videos where I show how to forge Japanese swords as well as how to polish them and how to make fittings, handles, and scabbards. WalterSorrellsBlades.com.